you're welcome to the program. Good afternoon and happy 2026.
Simon, thank you very much. Happy New Year to all the workers at Millennium TV.
Thank you so much on their behalf.
Thank you.
I'm sure they can hear you. How have you been?
No, we've been okay, and we've continued to engage in politics as a trade.
MD, before we get into the recap of 2025, I think let us begin our conversation by discussing the turn of events today. Archbishop Dr. Alick Banda was summoned by the Drug Enforcement Commission for questioning over a vehicle that was gifted to him by a ZRA employee. Let us start our conversation from that. Obviously, this is something that has sparked a lot of conversation, different reactions from the general citizenship, especially members of the Catholic Church as well as the priests themselves. Let us make of what you make of today's events, Mr. Small.
First of all, without prejudice, by law, a worker at ZRA does not qualify to purchase a vehicle from ZRA by law. A worker at ZRA does not qualify to purchase a vehicle from ZRA. The law does not allow them because of conflict of interest. You are aware of politicians that were serving their sentence due to giving themselves a contract. You float, you advertise something, and you sell yourself. So that now raises questions. So if that particular person is convicted under the same law of conflict of interest, selling yourself after advertising using the institution belonging to the government, then the recipient becomes a witness, if not an accomplice, giving the background that you have given. Okay? So perhaps what people may miss is that a ZRA employee cannot purchase a vehicle from ZRA. You remember those vehicles that are not cleared by citizens. You bring a vehicle and then you fail to clear, then ZRA would grab those vehicles. Workers at ZRA were not allowed by law to purchase those vehicles because they will page them at a lower cost and then sell themselves. So you have all those cases of conflict of interest. So when certain persons have been convicted under the same subject matter, then even those that seem to be linked, obviously, must explain themselves, and there's nothing sinister about it. Above all, the Constitution is very deliberate in its first part, that it is the supreme law of the land. All of us are subordinate to the Constitution. No one is above the law. And what that means is that even in state organs, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary are all subordinate to the Constitution of Zambia as the supreme law of the land. It is for this reason that when it is time for elections, not even the president, not even the chief justice, not even parliament can cancel elections, unless under other exceptions, for example, where there is war. So I should make it very clear that what has happened, there's nothing in a way strange. We have had so many, I'm sure, as you may have seen some of the posts on our page. We have so many clergy that have been indicted for different offenses in the world. In Rwanda, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in the USA, in Cuba, everywhere. Different clergy have been indicted. It's just recently when you had even many other than maybe a Catholic priest, there are many other priests from other churches and pastors, for different offenses. Some of them is defilement, others is rape. These are human beings who are under the law. They are not immune to prosecution and to investigation. And because the church plays a very critical role in speaking out the truth and in directing men to the truth and in inculcating the moral fiber in society. This is why many a time things would go wrong, whether from the point of corruption, whether from the point of shrinking political space. The church would speak out. So it is expected that the people that speak out, when a law has been broken, they should be the first ones to help members of the public that, oh, even us, we have been pointing fingers at these people so many times. If one of us is found wanting, they should also be answerable to the law. In the same manner, the president has said, whoever breaks the law is on their own. That is what is expected from the church. But if you have a situation where criminal perpetrators hide behind the pulpit, when they are cited, then they bring the pulpit and put it between the law enforcers and themselves, then that is blackmail. And obviously the law is blind to blackmail.
In this case, who are you referring to when you say criminal perpetrators that are using the pulpit?
I'm giving a generic statement because of presumption of innocence. Under the circumstances, we are saying even alleged criminals who are being summoned by law enforcement agencies are not immune to that summon. They must appear and present themselves. There's nothing sinister about them. They breathe the same air as we do. They have the same oxygen, the same human organs as we do. What befalls them befalls all of us. They are under the umbrella of the Constitution of Zambia. They seek the same fundamental rights and freedoms of citizens. So they are not cut from another cloth, or neither did they come from heaven. They were actually, they've been living with us. And so when things go wrong, all of us must be very clear that, okay, has something been done? Yes, something has been done. Because what has been happening deliberately or by default is that some people want to run away. Because I'm picking now the statement from the DG from the deck, who has been on record, I'm sure you've seen the footage, that here is the vehicle. We want to interrogate. So if the Director General, Nason Banda, is pointing at something, and his primary role is to ensure that anything that deals with illicit financial transactions is under the umbrella of DEC, they have to investigate. And you know very well that, you recall the last time I appeared here, we discussed the FIC report. And I did mention that you will be surprised that some of the clergy that are talking are actually part of the FIC report. I'm sure you recall when I was talking about that. That the people getting public property, giving themselves a government official buys a property from his office and gives it to another person. What? All those things, you go back to the FIC report. And when we were raising those, some of the money has been externalized from the FIC report. And I also mentioned that you wait and see when people are summoned. Because some people sometimes would think that when money has been externalized, they always think about a government official. I said, wait and see where money has been externalized. The moment the president said, we have now found the money where it is. We are working with other countries so that we can bring back the money into the economy. Some people thought the president was just bluffing. That we are aware that some people have channeled money to certain destinations outside the country. That money is coming back. I wish at that time maybe I should have told him, please don't say it. It's better the law enforcement agencies move smoothly and capture them, because people became clever.
But Mr. Simoe, we're talking about a Toyota Hilux that was seized in December of 2023, and of course former ZRA officials, the likes of Kingsley Chanda and Kalitas Kauma, were convicted and sentenced. Was it taken so long to call in the bishop for questioning and for investigations, obviously, regarding the vehicle, which was already seized, and people that gave him that vehicle or that gifted him that vehicle are already sentenced and convicted? Why did it have to take 2 years?
That's a very important question, because then that should be the subject of discussion. That there is something that has led to the conviction of other people. But that property is in the hands of another person, then it has been brought back. It has been, seized by the state. Now, interestingly, the law does not state when someone can be summoned, except the law provides for investigations before someone is summoned. And the law does not tell us when interrogations can be undertaken.
So there's no procedure.
We are not talking about, the procedure, this is what I'm giving you. The procedure is that before an individual is arrested, for example, there must be investigations. Okay? And there should be a legal, a proper call out. Someone is in court, but a proper call out, properly served on the suspect for interrogation. where an arrest, mostly, they would not summon an individual. Mostly, they would summon an individual when they have concluded their investigations. Investigations are not something that is straightforward to. They require a lot of forensic activities. But the point is that they are within the law. No law has been broken. Even if you committed an offense 20 years ago, a crime, you are arrested today, nobody would say, why is it taking so long for this person to be arrested? Because when a law has been broken, it must be enforced. So it doesn't matter at what point it is enforced. Imagine a thief who runs away sometimes. Giving an example, a thief runs away, and then they are caught 10 years from now. They can still be indicted for the same offense and be taken for trial. So that is a non-issue. I think the only consolation for us, Lovisa, is that we need to look for justice and not sympathy at any given time and space we are confronted with. That's the most important thing for the country. Because when we look for justice, should another person be found in the same situation, the same principle has to be applied. Because precedent is part of Zambia's source of law. And we have continued to embrace this pursuant to Article 7 of the Constitution of Zambia.
This move by the Drug Enforcement Commission has been described as one that is politically motivated by the UPND and of wanting to persecute the Archbishop himself, stemming from the many issues that have existed between the UPND and the Archbishop. Is this something that you agree with?
Yeah, but people have the right to their own opinion. But as you have rightly indicated in one of the questions you asked, that this vehicle in question has led to the conviction of others. So are you basically also saying that the conviction is political? Because it's a chain. A person has been found in the chain of a transaction. A person has been found in a chain of the transaction. So where do politics come in? If all of us agree that the moment that particular property was seized by the state, it was used as an exhibit. Now, if it was seized, it was in whose custody? It was in the custody of the person who has been summoned by DEC. So in all fairness, when we talk about their persecution, when someone is being persecuted, it's because they're being punished for doing what is right. So tell me what is right about getting a government property in an unscrupulous manner. Because people who are persecuted, for example, a Christian is being persecuted for preaching the gospel, for telling the world that Christ is coming again. So tell me what is, good about the incident that is under consideration. So we can have a fair conversation where we can also look at the other flip side of the coin and say, look, as much as this person may have been doing ABCD, he may have taken maybe a political opinion and so on, but there are these things. Are you also telling us that the very fact that this person has taken a political position, then they should not be followed by law enforcement agencies when there is a question such as this one that we've been confronted with? Are we also saying that because one is a politician, they don't need to be summoned by law enforcement agencies? Then we will be actually assaulting our own justice system, where we believe that such incidences should only be involving the lower class and the poor Zambians. Only a child, only a youth from Chivolia who was arrested for pocket picking. Only a brother from George Compound who was arrested for snatching a phone should go and save. Any other person that is involved in activities that come in conflict with the law should be spared. Is that the kind of environment that we are trying to promote? I don't think so. So the argument is that the church should take a leading role. And when we say the church, we are talking about all the churches, not one, in confronting wrong things. Imagine a situation where a person is caught in adultery. The church decides to excommunicate that person because maybe they are a clergy or a priest. When they have been involved in an activity that involves a theft, they are spared. Then we need to begin to question the boundaries that the church can take with regard to what is permissible in society and what is not permissible. But we can safely conclude, all of us, that at the center of this invitation, there are some leading stories that should help us arrive at a logical conclusion that indeed this someone is related to an activity that led some people to prison. And what we should be looking for is presumption of innocence. Is he an accomplice or is simply giving a testimony? These are things that we need to. Why is it that when you buy, I'll give you an example. When you buy a stolen phone, even you as a buyer would be arrested. I'm sure you know that. That's a simple example I'll give you. When you buy a stolen phone, as a buyer, police will also pick you. The question we should have been asking is that how come Kingsley and the colleague were picked by police, then the end receiver was spared? That should be the question you should be asking.
Right.
So that we can now hold law enforcement agencies accountable.
Mr. Smoe, the Catholic, members of the Catholic, I don't know if you followed through with what has been happening today, but the women in the Catholic Church, even some of the members of the Catholic Church, now believe that the UPND has waged war against the Catholic Church, and they say this is the worst mistake that the UPND has made. Doesn't this make you feel some type of way as a UPND? Because you can agree with me that the Catholics in Zambia are a lot. Doesn't this make you feel some type of way? You
should understand that UPND has so many Catholic members who also agree with what is happening, who also disagreed. I'm sure you recall that even when it comes to opinion-related issues under the Bill 7, while, I'll give you an example, the priest would take a certain position. There were clergy within the Catholic that supported it, and the videos have been there online. You clearly supporting it. In other words, when it comes to issues of governance, church members take a position. In UPND, I'm going to give you an example. The Home Affairs Minister, under which this police station falls, is Catholic. So are you also saying that he is also displeased? He has the responsibility to protect the law. Jackie Mwimbi is Catholic. Siakalima is Catholic. Honorable Mucheleka is Catholic. There are many Catholics in the UPND. This is not a theological issue. It is a governance issue that border on protecting public resources. So to blackmail, and I'm glad, I want to thank the youths in the Catholic Church for refusing to turn up. Because most of those people who are coming there are very old men like, Membe and all those guys. I want to thank the youths who could see through deceit. That when the vehicles in question was given, we were not beneficiaries. So why should we be part of the ceremony to walk to the police? Because that particular vehicle was not being given to the church, it was being given to an individual. There's a difference there. If I give you a present, I'm not giving Millennium. I should be very clear when I want to give a present to Millennium, to call the management of this institution that come and receive, this is a donation to Millennium. If I give Lovisa a present, I have not given a Millennium. And this is the point. Now, the church is, some clergy are making mistakes by dragging the church into conflict with the state. If you read much of the literature from the Vatican City, they don't tolerate that. They don't tolerate that. They tolerate an idea of the church living in harmony with the state. Even the Bible itself reminds church leaders to have respect for the secular world leaders. The Bible, to respect secular leadership. So now the point is, I'm glad the question was some, not all of them. Are you not surprised that most of these clergy that are opposed to the manner with which UPND runs the affairs of this country? Are you not surprised that when they go on the podium during the mass, then they say certain things that are political? Within a short period of time, we receive those videos. Where do you think they come from? It is the Catholic members that detest the behavior of some priests. They would even share, media director, look at this. The moment this man started talking about this during mass, I walked out. We look at it and say, hey, gentlemen, can we post it? Let people see what this clergy is saying. We've never asked how we get those videos. Even when they are done very far away. They say, look at this man. I came to listen to a sermon. He started talking about the president. I came to listen to a sermon. He started now insulting UPND. And all of us where we sit, we are aware that UPND in this area has brought free education. He doesn't talk about it. UPND has revamped the mining sector. He doesn't talk about it. UPND has been recruiting thousands of youths across the country than ever before. He doesn't talk about it.
Are you telling us that church leaders are not allowed to talk about governance issues or even speak about the president?
Now here is the point. The point is simple. What is the role of the church? If you look at the Societies Act, the Societies Act is the one which guides the participation of church organizations. 1, they should be apolitical. 2, they should not engage in military drills and other things, like a political party. 3, they should not do business. If they do, then they're inviting taxes. The Societies Act is all the churches in Zambia are registered by the government, for your record, for them to conduct their daily activities, including making noise like singing, preaching. That's why when you want to have a crusade or a procession, you inform the council. So, in some countries, the things that we do here have been banned.
Allow me to ask you this question.
So now, the point is, in winding up to your question, church leaders, when you say they talk about politics, it's the context. What context? Not as competitors, but maybe advocacy and engagement. How does the church engage the government? They look for a platform and say, we have noticed the following, and we believe that things can be handled this way. Now, how does the church, for example, operate? It operates through its own representatives. They are called church mother bodies. There is a church mother body where all these churches, the watchtowers and so on belong. Huh? All these Pentecostal churches have a church mother body. All these apostolic have a church mother body. All these, you have CCZ. CCZ, Is it a council of churches in Zambia? It's a council of churches in Zambia. So you can't pick one church and believe that the church has refused. Now, all these also are simply representatives. Individual churches can take a position. That our position is to simply worship and lead people to God. Not becoming competitors and even having meetings which are political in nature. You pick this one as a leader. You pick that one, you pick that one. There's a by-election coming. Let's strategize. Then you are practicing something beyond the worshiping and beyond the role of the church. Then you must be met as a political opponent and not a clergy. That now gives us a different dimension altogether. But what we are saying is that, for example, the Catholic has been a political religion for a very long time. Can't take that away from them. And part of what they raise mostly is advocacy. I'm sure you know that I have that background myself. All my uncles are still Catholic. Okay? My mother was Catholic.
Weren't you almost a priest at some point?
No, but where did you get that from? But the point is, but don't raise such issues on air. The point I'm trying to raise is that we need to be very clear not to adulterate the church through individual interest. What message are we preaching to church members? If there is an allegation of abuse of a public office by a clergy as an accomplice, then the church goes to protect. What sermon are they going to preach when it comes to abuse of public office? So, it should not be the church pointing fingers at politicians through a pastoral letter.
Allow me to ask you this question, Mr. Simowe.
Do you get my point?
I do get your point.
I want to repeat it.
I do get
Ask
your point. At the time that the UPND was in opposition and the Patriotic Front was in office, how vocal was the church?
Yeah. So, as I answer that question, I want to say that it should not be fashionable for the church to say, hey, you sinners, politicians, you cheated citizens. When those people in the pulpit who are saying you sinners have been involved in the theft, then they want to say, hey, we are not thieves, we are clergy. Then we need to rethink our religion. Because we are making then Christianity unpopular to those that don't believe in God. Now, how vocal was the church? We have to remind them that at that time, the previous government, the Catholic, the PFO, actually rejected engagement with the Catholic Church. You have the head of state who calls them to the table. They could not tolerate them. If you recall, Bill 10, part of the reason it failed was because President Church said, we want the constitution making process that will be spearheaded by the three church mother bodies and CSOs. And for up to date, the president has been engaging the clergy from time to time. Except he has a very thick skin, but he's human. Huh? Some clergy have gone outrightly to insult him and insult his persona. He's a church elder, you know that. A clergy goes and makes a sermon against the president and he doesn't respond. He ignores it. Can you think about it? He's human. One day he responds to sort out those clergy. They will not worship. I'll give you an example of God forbid in Russia. Putin closed the church. That's what he did. I'm sure you know that. He just went and closed it. Now, we need freedom of worship. Let us not drag the church into conflict with the government. It is enough for us to go to law enforcement agencies and answer the charges. Period. If you believe there is persecution, the question we need to ask is, what about the Hilux? What sermon are we going to make about the Hilux?
And I'll still take you back to my question. How vocal was the church at the time that the UPND was in opposition?
They were talking in the same manner that they are talking. So the point which I'm trying to drive home is that it is not an issue of being vocal. It's an issue of a criminal nature we are dealing with. It is not an issue of freedom of expression.
Under your administration, you're dealing with the clergy that has got a criminal nature? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
We are saying, under this administration, the DEC, the Drug Enforcement Commission, deals with criminal-related issues at the level of finances, particularly public finances or illicit finance or acquisition of property. That's how they operate. So, that DEC that does not have theology in it. It only has illicit financial activities and acquisition of property fraudulently.
I ask you that question, Mr. Smue, because you've cited a lot of examples of how the church has spoken against the president, and
the president has not responded.
The president hasn't responded, and that is why I keep asking you if under the time that you were under the Patriotic Front, if the church wasn't as vocal as they are now, and if you supported the church for speaking out at the time, why is it that it really agitates you that the church speaks out now again under your administration?
Now, there is no agitation. We need to separate the two again. There is a Hilux, Lovisa. A Hilux is not talking.
It's one individual, but it seems that you're grouping everyone.
No. They are grouping everyone to give solidarity to a person who is associated to a Hilux. The government has not said, can you bring all the clergy to escort this person? The government is still saying, reminding them, I'm sure I've seen the video that has been circulating about Kampionko, where he says, Ushenga mwaito muntu umukuba chese asuke. Ushe kusenda bonsa teni milangefo mwaibira. I'm sure I saw that video. The reason UPND is flashing that one, he said, look, you did not subscribe to the idea yourselves at your time of getting a huge group of people and disturb traffic, cause unnecessary traffic, disrupt the businesses. You ended up killing an individual. Samansama gone. Kaunda gone. Just here. But under the same administration, you are seeing police. No life is lost. Now, the point is...
But they were asking for tear gas.
The point is clear. The point is clear. The point is that we need to separate freedom of expression from a Hilux. Now, we seem to be doing ourselves a disservice, and it will haunt us in the future because we are destroying our own country. We want to ignore a Hilux and jump to the church. Can we sort out the Hilux before we talk about the church?
We get that point,
yes,
Mr.
so now,
but you've also emphasized on the fact that priests have taken to the pulpit to speak against the president, and he hasn't responded.
Now, I'm giving an example. We have had a situation where a priest not criticizing the leadership, but directly attacking the persona of an individual. There's a difference between the two. Attacking a Mark because he has a small nose is different from criticizing what he said. Do you get the point? So now I'm giving you an example that even such, he has a thick skin. Because ECL could not tolerate that. He would respond immediately to them that they can go. We don't need them. There are many Zambians that support us. He will say they can go even proceed with Christians for long. He never used to tolerate that. You have a president who is still extending an olive branch and say, come we talk. Let us not call each other names in public. If we have disagreements and you don't agree with me, here is the table, the door is open. This is your house. Sit down. That's what the president is known for. He is known for that. So now, having indicated that, we are back to the hierarchs. And we are saying, the issue here is not the church. The issue is the hierarchs. And the church has nothing to do with the hierarchs because it was not given to the church.
You brought in the issue of the church. I was asking about one individual. You brought in the issue of the church.
Yeah, now how did I bring it? This is what I'm saying. I'm belaboring to explain. I'm saying, let us not drag the church into an individual issue. That's how I brought it in. I'm basically saying, instead of bringing in the church, I'm an advocate of removing the church from the issue. I'm saying, we should not drag the innocent church into an individual issue relating to the hierarchs. That's the summary of what I said. Then your question is, you brought it. You have dragged in, people believe you've dragged in the whole church, the company.
I didn't ask you that question.
No, you go back to
I didn't ask you that question.
I've asked it differently. You're saying, you seem to be taking this, you're at variance now with the Catholic as a church as a whole. You get the point? You brought in that question. And then I said, let us not drag in the church into an individual issue. The issue is the hierarchs. And I'm saying, the problem that we have right now is that we want to mix the hierarchs with the church that is innocent. And we thank the youth in those churches for refusing to be part of that.
And you went ahead to cite examples of how the church has spoken against the president. Allow me to open our phone line, then we talk about the year 2025. Our dear viewer, for those that are tuned in this afternoon on the National Pulse, do call us on the number that is on your screen, 0770-813728. Or for those that are joining us on Mr. Samuel's platforms, you can call us on the number 0770-813728. That is the number that you'll be dialing to be part of the conversation. The number is 0770-813728. That is the number that you'll be getting in touch with us on the program. The UPND Media Director, Max Mue, is my guest this afternoon as we obviously look at the events that were unfolding this morning where Archbishop Alick Banda was being summoned at the Drug Enforcement Commission for a questioning over a vehicle, a Hilux, actually Toyota Hilux, that he was gifted by a ZRA employee. You can reach us on our Facebook page as well. It is Millennium TV Zambia. Mr. Smoe, let us recap the year 2025. But before we get into that, allow me to get this call. Good afternoon. You're through to the program. Mr. Chileshe.
Good afternoon,
Yes, please. You can go ahead with your contribution or question.
Good afternoon, our director.
Good afternoon, Chileshe.
Chileshe from Gade. Director, you have spoken very well. And let me begin my contribution by thanking the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. Apatulelanda, these hours that have passed, some people would have been in the fridge. This is where the difference is, my sister Chirufia. When we were asking about the difference, this is where the difference is. We have never heard anything, and we are praying to say, up to the end of this day, nothing of that matter which was happening in PF can happen today. The issue here is simple. This man has never been called to be interrogated. And when there is an issue, you are supposed to be called. How was this found in your position? Simple. And like the DG explained, there is nothing here on the white book like the Catholic Church. There is only one name or two names, which is Alick Banda, an individual. So like the director said, there is no issue here to include the church and the UPND. And those politicians who are trying to drag the UPND and the church could be shamed in 2026 because the same government today they are saying maybe they are going to somewhere, the government to continue from 2026 to 2031. The director was too diplomatic. Me, I'm not diplomatic. If you want, bring him on the ballot paper as Alick Banda, not as a Catholic state, as Alick Banda, and put the boss there. We are going to vote for UPND in 2026.
Mr. Chilisha, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So it's him and him, not the church. We are not in conflict with the church. It's him. Let him go and answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chilisha, for your contribution. Thank you so much. The number is 0770813728. That is the number that you're getting in touch with us on this afternoon on the program. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Please reduce the volume on your TV. Tell us your names and where you're calling us from.
You are speaking with Joshua. I'm calling from within Lusaka.
Yes, Mr. Joshua.
Yes, I just want to make my submission.
Please go ahead.
First of all, let me state that some of us, we have stopped being Christians because of the same behaviors like what we have just been seeing with the Archbishop. The Archbishop, instead of him advocating for peace, this is the man that went to South Africa trying to bury ECL in South Africa. Can you imagine that? This man should have been busy trying to bring the ECL family and the government together so that they can see the way forward in terms of how they are going to bury our former president. But this guy has been taking side. In fact, calling him the Archbishop is another problem. It's another mistake that we are making. This guy is a politician using the church, using the pulpit. So at the end of the day, people will be saying, oh no, the government is attacking the church and everything. This guy has been taking political sides from the beginning. And I feel like the government has to deal with him as a politician. Let's stop talking about him as the Archbishop and everything. You can just imagine, even after being told like you should visit the deck with only few individuals and your lawyers, he went and get everyone. Those were just cadres that he just brought to the deck office, and he wants to be treated as a priest at the end of the day. So it's quite unfortunate that we have gotten to this point. You'll be talking about Zambia being a Christian nation, and you have such bishops.
Joshua will ask you to wind up.
Christianity. Hello?
We'll ask you to wind up. Your time is up.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate Mr. Sumo is making a very good point, and I hope well-meaning Zambians are getting what he's saying.
Thank you so much for that contribution. The number is 0770813728. Hello, good afternoon. Tato matabe bwino mazina na kwa mene mtu mila? Choma voice ati mtu mila kuti mtendere east. Okay, gift, you can go ahead with your contribution. Thank you. Well, gift, thank you so much. Zikomo. All right, Zikomo, a gift. We'll pick 2 more calls, then I'll allow the media director to respond. 0770813728 is the number that you're getting in touch with us on. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. You're through to the program. Your names and where you're calling us from? At Bandani? Yes, Mami Mulibwanji. Happy New Year to you too. Hello, mungapitilize mami.
Why? Kanita na kupolisi. Singa endele abana banka balina ulanga. Lakini kwa kutiwa kampeni sini wa family bangu romaneta byangu. Takakwamba sako patikoni chancha mechi chichika. Kamene hapa munachoka kwamba Zambia is a Christian nation. Instead ya kuti mukontrole vintu za basibuula imwe. Zabe
Thank you so much for that call. We'll take another call. Then we'll ask Mr. Sumue to respond. The number is 0770813728. Those that are watching us on Mr. Sumue's platforms, and also those that are tuning in to Millennium TV Zambia and Top Stand 95, and of course on our Facebook page, Millennium TV Zambia. Do call in and be part of the conversation. You're through to the program. Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Your names and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling you from
How are you, Moses?
I'm okay, my big brother. My advice to you, the UPND, you know this is an election year. We are told by Jake that this matter started a long time ago. Why did they fail to conclude? Now only to wait for an election year. You know, as a government or as a political party, you're doing very well. But once you make one mistake, you are gone. So you must tread very, very carefully. This is an election year. My brother, I want you to advise you. So the issue of the Archbishop Alick Banda, people are just talking anyhow, they don't even have the facts. It is the same you politicians who donate to churches and so on. Why has the government failed even to target those that donated that vehicle? So on the good standard device, watch that point of money by UPND. But on this matter, I think you are missing the point. But one Zambia we are watching. This is an election by bro. So in conclusion, this each other fair is very, very important. People are dying in Congo, they are our fellow citizens. Where is the government? You are busy with Dr. Alick Banda and so on. Up to today, we have not buried our former head of state. Your government, much more. My government has failed. All the past government, we have never failed to help us bury our former leaders. But UPND was failing to negotiate with the family, and people are saying, no, Alick Banda would have, Alick Banda was just chosen by the family to actually negotiate.
Moses, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much for that contribution, Mr. Moses. We'll take another set of calls in
we have too many of them.
Yes, we'll take another set of calls after the media director here responds, and we'll take another 5 after he responds.
Yes. Let me start with Moses, the last caller, who says this is an election year. But Moses, are you going to tell me that even the phone that you are having there, if it is stolen, you allow the thief to just go because it's an election year? I think we need to be reasonable. Are you going to tell me that if your child, I believe you have a child, is killed today by a politician because it's an election year, the politician should not be arrested? I think that lopsided kind of reasoning should come to an end in our country. If at all we are going to have a society that fears the law. If at all, one person called in the manner that Moses has called, Then he had a bicycle. The moment he was done speaking the way he has spoken, the bicycle was stolen. He called back the studio saying, the time I was talking to you, I had put my bicycle on the side so that I could make a call. I said, so now can you leave that bicycle because you're going for by-elections? No, I need to report to the police. Police must nab this person, have an idea of who stole it. In other words, Moses, there is nothing to do with elections here. Alick Banda is not a politician. Okay? Unless you are confirming on this platform that he is supposed to stand as a politician. Okay? Number one. Number two, you are saying it is a politician that donated. The one who donated, he was not a politician. He was a worker at ZRA. Again, that is a problem when you do not have facts. You cause a lot of havoc, even to your own children who are listening to you there. How does it make you feel that dad is lying? Then the next thing, I was trying to wait for the advice you were going to give. Where you are saying we have not buried ECL because government has failed to bury. Government is not the one which has refused to have ECL buried here. That has been the desire of government, that there is no country in the world where the former head of state is buried elsewhere. That has been the position of the president, that has been the position of the government, and in many other church organizations, including the Catholic. They are saying he must be brought here and buried. The issue that you are bringing in of the Archbishop Alick Banda and the burial of ECL, the government of the Republic of Zambia, for your record, engaged Bishop Alick Banda to help also in negotiating with the former first family. For people that believe that whenever you see Archbishop Banda being summoned, immediately the picture of President HH comes in. President HH reached out to Alick Banda to be part of those who were sent as envoys to help persuade the former first family to bring the body of the former head of state to be buried here. So how can today one wake up and say, you have failed to bring the body? Government, to demonstrate that they were not willing to just do things that have never been done before by any country, they went as far as going to court. Right now, the government of the Republic of Zambia has the power to go and grab the body using the military and bury here. But your head of state doesn't want to go that way because they already lost the case. His argument is that we cannot bury without the first family. They need to be present with us. We need to negotiate. It is others that we are not willing to negotiate. Okay? So I think this must be put on the record, that to the contrary, your head of state has been very magnanimous in engaging the former first family. As much as he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, he has not failed. Today he can tell them, we are talking to our counterparts in South Africa, we are going to pick the body. The military will go there and bring it and bury. Is that what you want to see? That is what he is avoiding. He is saying, it will only be well for all of us if we respect the former first family, that there is a common ground. Can we come and give a dignified send-off to a former head of state, and then we can proceed as a country? Let me quickly get to the other area. Joy Sakala from Chongwe, that Mufyashinga Bamusenda cannot go with the children. Bishop Teba Fiashi, in case you don't know.
What do you mean?
Tabakwata there is celibate. He's a celibate. So
Sakala. Giving an example.
No, this, but it's a wrong example. I'm just trying to give a that.
No, she meant the children in the church.
He was going with even people, perhaps maybe slightly older than him. People like Fred.
Spiritual sons.
No, wait a minute. Be very careful with what you are saying. So let's not go there. The point is that instead of, don't talk about spiritual sons, because he did not go with the church members per se. There were a lot of politicians there and the PF members and opposition. So now, you must be very careful when you are saying he goes there only with the... There were a lot of politicians there.
But there were also members of the Catholic Church.
A minority. Very few. There are thousands of
the point is still that they went.
So, Yeah, but there's a difference between 2 and 10. One should be more. So whether the argument is not whether there's a number or not. The argument is whether the church subscribes to what is happening or not. And we are saying we want to thank the Catholic Church for standing their ground. We have a lot of churches around who priests refused to go there. We had instead very few of them. And those who went were seen mostly with a patriotic front at the time of the opposition. Sometimes dancing, people can Google videos. You find they're dancing with CCA or somewhere there, Chadila, and so on. So the point I'm trying to raise by Joyce Sakala is that we are talking about to control into. I know you are a mother where you are by Joyce Sakala. You have children that are going to school without paying anything. You never used to see it. It's because you don't live in a mining area like Copper Belt. Then you are going to see how much damage you caused on the Copper Belt, where over 20,000 citizens lost their jobs. We have resolved that problem. You are not aware that 258,000 farmers remained unpaid for 2 years. Today you've made a lot of noise, and yet when you paid them, you are paying them after the farming season in June. That's what's happening. You have a government that can tell you they even have a ceiling, and by 10th January there should be no one who should remain. Duapola alone, over 95% farmers have been paid. The next thing, over 42,000 teachers. It has never happened, not even at your time. So you must be very careful where you stand. Are you saying the one who voted, the one who got jobs, the thousands of youths that have gotten jobs after waiting for many years in joblessness, who vote against UPND? So you must be very careful. The youths that have qualified after getting free education, some of them we found them in grade 10. But in the free education up to grade 12, they know what their parents were going through. Some of them are now eligible as voters. Be careful. You think they do not know that their parents were struggling at your time.
Due to time, allows to take another set.
No, but this is what we are saying, that when you take many callers, we need to do justice. If we want us to be giving brief answers, pick 3 callers, we respond, we go to 3 callers. Right. So lastly, that you have stopped going to church because of such people like Archbishop Banda. Do not stop going to church because of human beings. Your focus should be on your Christ, your life. Don't stop. Mutampe na fuchain. Then the next person, Vachoma voice. Some people are abusing God's name. Vachoma voice. Even if God does not allow theft, He does not allow sin. Do you know why some people who perish will go to eternal life? It's because some of them will be thieves. Some of them will be murderers. So the church teaches exactly what God wants. So it's actually working well with God when you detest abuse of public office. Because when public property is taken away, you should know that there is a child who has been denied bursaries. You should know that there is a mother who has been denied, a widow who has been denied empowerment. That is why the church must take center stage. You should also know that there are many other even journalists who can't get jobs in government because that money has been taken away. But some of them are busy shooting themselves to the foot. That they should okay the money, they should just leave it, let it go, so that they remain where they are. People must be responsible with their mouth, they must be responsible with their ears, and do things that are right for themselves and for the future of this country. Let's talk about John General as an example. Mr.
Sumo, I'll give you under a minute to report. Or let me take another set of
questions. Why didn't John General get different clergy to go there?
That's a whole different case, Mr. Samoe.
No, I'm giving
the number is 0770813728. That is the number that you're dialing this afternoon to be part of a conversation. You can also reach us on our Facebook page, Millennium TV Zambia. Due to time, Mr. Samoe, I would love us to delve into 2026 expectations because time won't allow us to talk about 2025. But let us talk about what the UPND has planned for the people of Zambia in the year 2026, especially that this is an election year. Of course, I think you obviously have a lot to prove to the people of Zambia in just the few months that have remained before the 2026 general election.
Exactly. We have so far proved a lot. You can look at it by sequence. let me talk about the education. I've already talked about free education. It was in the manifesto that we shall give you free education. So we can kwenyu. Then next to free education, we are paying for all the pupils across the country examination fees. So we can always kwenyu there, we tick. Then in addition to that, over 2,000 classroom blocks across the country have been constructed. A thing that has never taken place before. Under the CDF, we can kwenyula. In addition to that, as at early last year, first quarter, 200,000 youths graduated from vocational training colleges. Hope you're following. I'm talking about education alone. 200,000 youths graduated from vocational training colleges in these schools. Over 200 youths. 200,000 youths. It has never happened. For free. In carpentry, in bricklaying, in fish farming, in general agriculture, in tailoring. Over 75,000 market booster loans have been given to marketeers as a way of helping those that have never been to school, but they are involved in some of these activities.
Kindly hold your thoughts, Mr. Simoe.
Yeah.
Allow me to take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, madam.
Hello, you're through to the program. Your names and where you're calling us from. Yes, Walia. Walia, wewe niko volume ku TV.
Okay. Nangu kuli bambi nangu ni government ya ayo mamotoka. Nangu kuli kilo mundumbi uwa yalufya ayo mamotoka yareka bibwa okufailisha. Eso ndefo kulishiwa mkwai.
Watotela mkwai? All right, I'll take another call but due to times, and then we'll close our phone line. The number is 0770813728. That is the number that you'll be dialing, or you're dialing this afternoon to be part of the conversation. The UPND Media Director, Mark Simoe, is my guest this afternoon. As we are obviously, our conversation has turned into today's happenings at the Drug Enforcement Commission, where Archbishop Alick Banda was summoned by the Drug Enforcement Commission, the money laundering unit to be specific. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. Please reduce the volume on your TV. At Wandani? Yes, Tembo. Hello? All right, we'll take another call in place of that one. 0770813728 is the number that you're getting in touch with us on. Please do call us, be part of the conversation on our Facebook page. It is Millennium TV Zambia. You can leave us a comment in our comment section and be part of this afternoon's program, where we host the UPND Media Director, Mr. Simoe, as we look at, of course, events that unfolded this morning at the Drug Enforcement Commission offices. And also there was an earlier mass at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus that Bishop Alick Banda was presiding over. You can make your comment or your contribution via the number that is on your screen, or leave us a comment in our comment section on our Facebook page, Millennium TV Zambia. Mr. Simoe, seems that call is not coming. I'll let you speak about obviously the 2025 achievements by the UPND and what we should expect in the year 2026.
So I've talked about free education. I've talked about classroom blocks. I've talked about government paying for all the pupils across the country their examination fees. I've talked about desks supplied and manufactured and supplied by the Zambian people. Youths, the elderly, manufacturing desks, making things on our own. Because we had reached a stage of even importing desks. Can you imagine? So we have good timber, we are manufacturing our own steel. So using local steel, local nails, local screws, and making our own desks. When we are done with this, we can now make Zambia an export market. Then the next thing we need to look at is health. You know that medical supplies and medical supplies and the purchase of medicine, when we took over leadership, was around 30%. Today, as we speak, we are over 80%. The WHO threshold is about 70%. To demonstrate that the kit, you've seen the kit that we're talking about, this medicine is in different categories. Okay? There are those first aid kind of medicine, and there's also medicine that is used, okay, to deal with the specialized treatment. It is important for us to mention that even health institutions are in categories. There are specialized hospitals, there is a level 1 hospital, there is a general hospital, there is a health post, there is just a clinic. A health post has no specialized personnel. So if you are injured, you have cut off your finger, it is completely mutilated, it requires amputation. A health post cannot attend to you. You go to specialized hospitals where people that are trained in handling bones are found. If it has to do with a private parts for a woman, at a health post, you will not find such specialized treatment. I mean, specialized, if it is complex, they will take it to a place where you find a gynecologist, and usually found in a specialized hospital. Some of those specialized hospitals we have include Lusaka, we have Levi Mwanawasa, we have the National Disease Hospital. As you go to the airport, you have also the Cancer Disease Hospital. You also have the UTH, where you find pediatrics there. You find nurses that are specialized specifically to deal with children. They are pediatrician nurses there. And they don't just do general nursing. They have streamlined to deal with matters and diseases that relate to children alone. So with these categories that we are talking about, it means the kind of assistance that people need will be different based on the kind of a problem that they have. And in addition to that, you should also mention that we also have the first ever cancer hospital on the core belt. You also have a flying doctor which has been revitalized with the state-of-the-art hospital in Ndola, actually another one within Ndola, with 3 aircrafts that have been procured, and their very recent one which was procured, the first ever pressurized plane that was procured for this flying doctor. We are now able, as you could have seen on your TV station and other media houses, where we are able to get to far-flanked areas where they have no access to some of these facilities, and people just die on diseases that can easily be cured. So we are able to fly people there, specialists, attend to them with mobile clinics, some of them that have complex problems, they can undergo some surgery and so on and so forth. So this is exactly what is being done in the health sector. I should further mention that we understand that the nurse-patient ratio has been a thorny issue. As a result, we came up with a deliberate position under the UPND administration to see to it that over 25,000 health personnel have been recruited. You will not find this record anywhere in Africa, and let alone in the world. You will not find any country under the sun created by God with over 42,000 teachers recruited in 3 years. The other thing that I need to talk about under tourism is that when UPND took over leadership, the number of tourists that were coming into our country were about 200,000 in a year. Today, as we speak, we are over 2.2 million. So what did we do? And what is the importance of having these tourists? For my mother who is selling tomatoes, they will come to the country. So what? They are enjoying. So what? Here is the explanation to it.
I'll ask you to wind up, Mr.
Exactly.
Smoyo. We're being wonderful.
It's a very important point. These 2.2 million tourists who come, they come with a currency called dollar. Okay? So they will leave it in Zambia as they go, because they will need to change their money into local currency so that they can start buying things that they buy. When they change, that money remains in Zambia, then Kwacha will become strong. When Kwacha becomes strong, those are the adjustments in the prices of goods and services you see on the market. Then secondly, those brothers and sisters that are selling traditional attires, Sunday market and Kawata market there, the traditional market, they can now have more people to buy the things that they are selling, and then have money to take care of their families. They can again buy more things. The next thing, as we wind up, obviously, the mining sector, which I made reference to, this is self-explanatory. We had KCM that was under liquidation. We had Mopan that had collapsed. Over 25,000 workers lost their jobs. UPND came in. As we are speaking today, we have Kalengwa mine, a mine that was closed over 40 decades, over 40 years, has seen its life again. You have also Shaft 28 in Luansha, which has been reopened. Another promising mine that is going to attract more than 1,500 workers. Luansha is back on track today if you've taken time to go there. Mopani mine in Mufurira. There are more activities, and also you've seen youth civil opening up some car wash because there are many activities that are taking place there. You also have the expansion of mines. You talk about AC3, which was recently commissioned by the president, targeting over 1,500 workers to be employed directly and indirectly, and contributing over 150,000 metric tons of copper, helping the UPND government to realize its goal of 1 million up to 3 million tons per year production, knowing that this traditional export has been contributing considerably towards our national basket. Perhaps this explains the reason the ZRA has been able to achieve its own budget target. From the time we took over leadership, the graph under the ZRA has been going up, with government expanding its expenditure, knowing that we are increasing the tax base. There are more taxpayers as more industries are being opened. And not only these mining sectors, companies, we also have Chivombo here. Zambia now is able to manufacture batteries. Remember, we had Masa batteries. We are back to manufacturing batteries, which we are exporting to 8 countries. We are also back, in addition to Zamefa that produces electric cables, these cables that you are using here, we are now producing them locally, exporting again to 8 countries. We are also now able to export fertilizer and export to 8 countries. You recall that the whole Southern Africa has been dependent on Morocco and Russia, including some Middle East countries. Now we have the market around the region, having one of the best fertilizer, and we are now able to export, including to countries that are close to the sea like Tanzania. So, with that kind of export, what are the benefits? Those industries like United Capital Fertilizer and ACZ have now recruited Zambians to get jobs so that they are able to take care of their families. They are able to sustain their families. That's what the UPND has done. And in addition to that, we've taken agriculture as a business, where about 17,000 farmers were earmarked in the drought season for empowerment in irrigation equipment. All that has created employment to the farmers. We are now able to break the market to be able to export even beef to Mozambique, a thing that never used to happen because the president has signed market access agreements with other countries, including Rwanda. We've also signed a market access agreement with countries like China. So the frontiers of trade and investment are being opened up on an annual basis. And the secret that your head of state is using is to have a relationship with the private sector business persons, where he's having what is called a business forum. I'm sure I've seen it. He has an interactive program with all the Zambian people that are opening companies to hear the challenges they are faced with, so that government can align their policy to the emerging challenges in the corporate world, thereby making these companies more viable and productive so that they can expand and contribute positively in terms of taxes to the government, thereby sustaining government to be able to sustain free education, to be able to increase on CDF and also empowerment programs, to be able to focus more on growing the economy in a manner that makes Zambia, Zambia's flag being lifted high. Today as we speak, when you travel out of the country, Lovisa, you'll be proud. You land in the Middle East, you say, which country are you coming from? Zambia. They're talking about your president. You okay? They say, oh, boy, that this HH. Yes, he's a very powerful president.
Mr. We have
it's
to
very
come
important.
to the end
Don't
of
be
our
shy.
discussion. I'm not being shy. Time is not on our side. We've overshot by a few minutes.
But why have you overshot when I was talking about something very important?
Time. But
people
we'll
need to know.
We'll definitely call you back, Mr.
It takes time. In Zambia, we have a very bad habit, my sister. In Zambia, we have a problem. If Lovisa is doing well, we will only say he has done well after he has died. Your president has done over and above. It took former president of Botswana to post on his page. First, he's the first one who posted and said, HH among the best 5 countries. HH among the presidents. He posted. Seriously. The next thing, there was another organization that published. Positioned Zambia as among the top 5 most democratizing states in the world. We were not surprised when you saw the president being classified among the 21 presidents in the world and 3 in Africa. Best presidents. It's not a shock because when he stands to speak, he's incomparable. You can get European presidents and you get your president to go on a debate. You'll be assured you perform well.
Right.
And everyone knows that. And he's not just speaking in a debate. You can see him actualizing things. Making your country the only country the whole world under the G20 framework to have succeeded in debt restructuring.
Right.
And no other country has
thank you
succeeded
so much
after
for coming.
president.
It's been a pleasure having you. I know
Thank you
you
very
have a
much.
lot
You know,
to tell us.
it's
definitely
my
call
first
you back
appearance
again.
on Millennium
Exactly,
TV.
because you
should
have
allowed
allowed.
me
But
to
thank
really
you
deal
so
with
much,
these
Mr.
issues.
Samue,
Exactly.
for coming. It's been a pleasure
Yeah,
having
2026
you. And
first
always a
appearance.
pleasure. 2026 first appearance, the first guest
We
on the
need to
National
come and
House.
deal with more successes that we have scored.
Of course.
Yeah.
Out here, we come to the end of